everyone, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. I'm Deborah Straight, and I'm the owner and artist here. On my channel, I do a little bit of everything. Basically, if I can put paint on it, I put paint on it. I also do a little bit of etched glass. Basically, I'm creative, and so I like to do a lot of different things. I don't like to get stuck into one thing. Today what we're going to do is upcycle a bread box that I had thrifted. I thrifted this for $4, and it is a modern looking bamboo bread box. But we're going to go ahead and paint it. It has some water damage on the bottom and some discoloration. So we're going to clean it really good. We're going to paint it up. We're going to make it really cute. And then I'm going to put it in one of my booths. If you like these type of videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to try to do better about getting content on here. I do thrift flips. I do thrift hauls. I do some artwork. I do some furniture flipping and furniture art. I do have a website as well as my Facebook and my Instagram and TikTok. And I try to do my videos here as well. So if you like these kind of videos, please subscribe, hit the little bell thing so you get notified anytime that I do a video. And now we're going to jump on over into the video. I filmed it and I'm going to do a voiceover on that. And if you have any questions, always put them in the comments below and I'd be glad to get back to you. All right, thanks a lot and let's get going. Okay guys, so here is our cute little modern bamboo bread box. I have already given it a clean before I went on video, but I'm just showing you what I do. I take a little bit of awesome cleaner. I get that at the dollar store. It's great for degreasing, and as you know, anything that's been in a kitchen has that kitchen fur on it. And I just go ahead and clean it really well with the awesome cleaner and then wipe it down with some clear water. All right, and so then I've decided to go ahead and tape off this handle. The way that it is in there, it's just really awkward to try to take it out. And honestly, it was just going to be easier to tape it, so that's what I decided to do because I didn't want to have to take the lid off. And otherwise, it was just going to be really awkward to try to get in and unscrew that handle. So just quicker and easier to throw some blue tape on there. All right, and so now I've got Dixie Belle in sea glass, and I'm just going ahead and putting a quick coat on the entire thing. I am spraying it with my spray bottle so that the paint will move a little bit easier. And this first coat, I am definitely not expecting to get full coverage. I just want to get paint on everything. And it's easier to just go ahead and flip this over and get the top of that. That way I make sure that I don't miss any part of the wood that is showing. All right, and then I don't want to get too heavy when I do this edge because I don't want a layer to form in between. And so I'm just doing it really lightly and a few coats of that really lightly and it will cover just fine. Now go ahead and just continue on and put that first coat on and just try to make sure that everything is fully covered. Now before you put the lid down, you will want to let it dry here on this base because otherwise you're going to end up with the paint sticking and lifting. So you want to make sure that the lip and the base is dry before you put the lid down to do the back part of the bread box itself. So we're just going to continue on and keep adding the paint. It's a little tricky to swivel around because that lid does want to open and close as you're trying to move it. And I try not to get my fingerprints in the paint as I go. So now we're just going to go ahead and do this back. and around the handles, and it's covering pretty well for a first coat, but when it dries you'll be able to see that we definitely need a second coat. I do put a second coat on it, and I do put a third coat just in a couple areas where I just didn't quite get covered. I did not film that third coat. Also, I do paint the bottom of it, and I don't do that on camera because what I did was I did 2 coats on the bottom, and then I clear coated it before I started the top. That way, it was done and sealed in and ready to go before I went on and did the rest of this. But rest assured, the bottom does get done. So just going to go ahead and finish here, and then I let it dry really, really well. Okay, and so now I'm moving on to the second coat. Now this is sped up. I don't paint this fast, but for sake of a shorter video, I sped it up. Now, if you notice, I am going about this in the opposite direction than I put the original paint on. I find that that will help make sure that you get a full coverage on a second coat, because you're going the opposite direction of your original brush strokes, and those strokes may be where you have lighter paint in areas. So by going the other way, you're covering those up, and you're going to get full coverage with the second coat. Now, like I said, I did put a third coat just on a couple of areas, and those were the edges where I just didn't quite get in there really good, and I did go the same direction on those because it's just harder to go the other direction on that really narrow ledge. So those areas I did do a quick third coat, which didn't take long to dry or to do. The other thing that I did off camera was I did pull the lid down just a little bit and put a coat just on the very inside of the lid on the sides. And that just gave it a more finished feel if somebody's lower and looking. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this transfer and figure out what I want, and then I'm going to cut it and get that ready to go. You can hear my Basset Hound walk through. She's got some really nice thick toenails, and so you can hear her really well. Now this transfer is called the Flower Fields, and it is redesigned by Prima furniture transfer. And I just cut out what I was wanting, and I put little slits in there so that it would slide down past the handle. And then you're just going to take your stick and you're going to rub it on, and then lift back on the paper. And if it is not sticking to where you want it to stick, just lay it back down and do a little bit more rubbing. Now with this, around the handle was a little bit hard, but we got it done. And then you'll notice that I'll take the little scraps. I had one flower over on the right hand side. I didn't flip this, so it was my left hand, but your right hand side, that the flower just didn't quite come to the bottom where I had to cut that out. And so I'm just taking a bit of the scrap and making that look like it comes all the way down, has a little bit of a flower in front of it. And then I'm going to take another little piece of scrap and just fill in a little bit right here under the handle where it just didn't quite have the right effect for me. Now you can layer these and they work just fine, and so that's what I'm doing just to make it have that full finished look. Okay, so when you're done getting your transfer on there, just take a piece of the backing paper and burnish it. What this does is it gives it a really good settle into the wood. Now I'm taking the tape off of my handle because I am done with the parts that I just don't want to get on that handle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a clear coat over the transfer itself. Now, I have had people, I've watched videos where they have said that you don't have to do a clear coat. You can go ahead and just wax them. And I just am not comfortable where I resell doing that. I like to make sure that it has a clear coat on there. And so I did put 2 coats of clear coat on there so that it would make sure to be fully secure before I add the wax. Now, a lot of times what I will use is a DIY or a Dixie Belle wax. In this case, because this is going in a kitchen and I want it to be really, really, really well waxed, I'm going to go ahead and use this Johnson's paste wax. This does have a smell, so if you don't like those chemical smells, I don't suggest using this. And now I'm just buffing it so that we get a sheen out of it. Now this will, the smell goes away and it will have a nice hard finish to it, and it will be good for years to come. Now, like I said, I did finish the bottom. I did clear coat the bottom, and then I also waxed the bottom. Hopefully that will give it a really good surface so that any water will be repelled from that. Now I'm just going to continue to buff this, and once this stuff comes to a haze, you buff it out, and that's it. All right, if you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. Here it is, all finished and ready to go in my booth. All right, thanks again, and y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.